the fresher fight. Oh, right hand, he hurt him. I mean, Ilia's face is just destroyed.
We literally had him get out of the octagon before the hand was even raised and sent him to the hospital. Yeah, Ilia's in the hospital. He's busted up. You know, I'm not a doctor, but his eye looked like he probably has broken orbital.
I always tell people that losing is not the end. Losing is a lesson. Tonight I learned a very hard lesson.
I don't think Ilia Topuria ever comes back the same. His whole mindset, his whole like ego, know what I mean? Like his is like, I'm undefeated, no one can beat me. Having celebrations the night before the fight. I just...
More significantly was the eye damage. Both of his eyes were swollen shut. His nose was fucked up. He'd taken so many punches to the face, and it looked like perhaps orbital damage, like maybe he had a fractured orbital, because his whole...
Against all expectations, Justin Gaethje delivered one of the most stunning victories of his career. Entering the biggest fight of his life as an underdog of more than 6-1, he was overlooked by many fans and analysts. Yet when the night was over, Gaethje had accomplished what few believed was possible, defeating Ilia Topuria by stoppage to claim the lightweight championship during the historic event held on the South Lawn of the White House. Topuria entered the bout with an unblemished professional record and the momentum of 3 consecutive knockout victories over some of the sport's biggest names. His dominance had made him one of the most feared champions in mixed martial arts. But by the end of the contest, the unbeaten streak was gone, and he had absorbed significant damage in one of the toughest fights of his career. Reports after the event revealed that Topuria had suffered fractures to both eye sockets, underscoring just how punishing the battle had been. Then UFC President Dana White provided an update that immediately shifted the focus away from the championship result and toward concerns about Topuria's condition, changing the direction of the conversation across the MMA world. Here's a complete breakdown of everything that unfolded and why the aftermath of this fight could have major implications for the future of the lightweight division.
Through Ilia, was he as good as you thought he was? Was he better than you thought he was? Just kind of talk about what you experienced in there with him.
I mean, he's very good. I mean, my liver still hurts right now. Those body shots were crazy. I mean, he was really, really fast, but you know, when he didn't get the finish at the end of the second round, I think it really took his spirit.
After the fight, Justin Gaethje made it clear that Ilia Topuria lived up to every bit of the hype surrounding him. He praised Topuria's power throughout the contest, especially his devastating attacks to the body, admitting that the shots to his liver were so punishing that he was still feeling the effects even after the fight had ended. However, Gaethje believes the turning point came in the second round. Despite the damage Topuria inflicted, he was unable to secure the finish when the opportunity presented itself. Once that moment passed, the momentum gradually began to swing in the opposite direction. From there, the complexion of the fight started to change. Gaethje settled into his rhythm, found greater confidence in his approach, and steadily gained control of the exchanges. What had initially looked like Topuria's fight slowly transformed into a contest that increasingly favored Gaethje, ultimately setting the stage for one of the most memorable victories of his career.
You know, fight of the year, fight of the whatever, it's one of the greatest fights you'll ever see. It was incredible. And especially when you got a guy, I don't know where it ended up, but 6, 7, 8-1 underdog, and then comes in and does what he did tonight. And then Ilia, I mean, the body shots that Ilia hit Gaethje with in that round, and then Gaethje gets through it. Gaethje's about to get into, you know, an arm bar. He almost got into a triangle. I mean, you saw everything in that fight.
Following the event, Dana White reserved some of his highest praise for the contest. Rather than simply labeling it the fight of the night, he described it as one of the greatest battles fans could ever witness. In his view, the matchup had everything: high-level skill, constant momentum swings, and extraordinary toughness from both competitors. Gaethje entered the cage as a heavy underdog, yet he managed to overcome punishing body attacks, dangerous submission attempts, and non-stop pressure from an undefeated champion. By surviving those moments and continuing to push forward, he produced a performance that few expected and ultimately walked away with the lightweight title. Before discussing the injuries that followed, it's worth remembering just how remarkable the contest itself was. This was more than an ordinary championship fight. It was a relentless test of endurance, strategy, and determination that demanded everything both fighters had to offer. Every round brought new challenges, and every exchange added to what many have already described as one of the most memorable fights in recent MMA history.
Ilia's in the hospital. He's busted up. You know, I'm not a doctor, but his eye looked like he probably has broken orbital. I don't know that. That's not a fact, but I'm just assuming. And my plans for him are to go home and rest and recover and take his time. And you know, tonight was a rough night for him. I just want to make sure he's healthy and good, and not even thinking about him fighting again. Just want him to go home and relax and rest.
The conversation took a dramatic turn once Dana White provided an update on Ilia Topuria's condition after the event. According to White, Topuria was taken directly to the hospital following the fight so that doctors could evaluate the injuries he suffered during the championship bout. As White discussed the damage around Topuria's eye, the focus quickly shifted away from the celebration of Gaethje's victory and toward concern for the former champion's health. He indicated that Topuria was being evaluated for a possible orbital fracture, making it clear that the injuries were far more serious than the typical cuts and bruises fighters often leave the cage with. At that point, the full extent of the damage was still unknown. What was clear, however, was that Topuria had absorbed an enormous amount of punishment throughout the contest. The physical toll of the fight became one of the biggest stories of the night, reminding everyone just how demanding and unforgiving a championship battle at the highest level of mixed martial arts can be.
The main event was the greatest fight of all time. It literally was the greatest fight of all time. Because the guy that won it, Justin Gaethje, was in many books 6-1 favorite, 6-1 underdog rather, which is crazy odds for a guy that was a interim lightweight champion, fought the best of the best, one of the best to ever do it, BMF champion. I mean, just super durable, real dangerous guy, and that's how good Ilia Topuria is. That's how good Ilia Topuria is. Ilia Topuria, in many people's eyes, is the most skilled of the new generation, and the new generation is the most skilled of all time. And Ilia was like the top of the mountain. And most people thought that he was going to be too much, and he was too much for a while. And he almost took Justin out in the second round. And then Justin rallied. And then Ilia, it looked like he got really damaged in either the first or the second round, and he was having real trouble seeing out of one of his eyes. And then Justin started landing bombs in the third round. Ilia had slowed down quite a bit. It looked like he had really tried to finish Justin in the second. And sometimes when you try to finish a guy, you just hit the gas way too much and you can't recover in between rounds. And Justin recovered, and Justin started battering Ilia in the third and fourth, and by the end of the fourth round, Ilia quit on his stool. He couldn't see out of either eye. He had gotten kneed into the body real bad when he was on the ground. Justin had him down with his two hands and just smashed a knee into his rib cage, and you could see him go like that. And that was the end of the round. And then he had to retire on his stool. And you
think he broke a rib?
That probably could have happened, but I think maybe more significantly was the eye damage. Both of his eyes were swollen shut. His nose was fucked up. He'd taken so many punches to the face, and it looked like perhaps orbital damage, like maybe he had a fractured orbital, because his whole thing had just swollen up on both sides. He was unrecognizable. And, the guy hung in there as long as he could, but when you can't see, you can't see. And when you're that battered, sometimes it's smart to stop. And he's a very smart guy, and I think he realized, I can't defend myself right now. I can't see.
According to Joe Rogan's assessment of the fight, the biggest story extended beyond the upset itself. While many fans were focused on Justin Gaethje's stunning victory, experienced fighters and analysts were paying close attention to something else: the steady accumulation of damage that changed the course of the contest. In the opening stages, Ilia Topuria looked every bit like the dominant champion people expected to see. He was sharp, explosive, and accurate, putting Gaethje under immediate pressure. During the second round, he came close to ending the fight with a series of punishing body attacks that tested Gaethje's ability to withstand the assault. But championship fights can change in an instant. Sometimes the outcome hinges on a single sequence, a missed opportunity, or a moment when momentum slips away. Once Gaethje weathered Topuria's most dangerous offense, the direction of the fight gradually began to shift. As the rounds continued, Topuria's pace started to decline while Gaethje became increasingly comfortable and confident. At the same time, the damage around Topuria's eyes continued to worsen, making the situation inside the cage even more difficult. By the third round, Gaethje was consistently finding his target with powerful strikes. As the fight moved into the later rounds, Topuria appeared to be dealing with more than simple exhaustion. The visible damage suggested his vision may have been affected, forcing him to compete under increasingly difficult circumstances. Every exchange became more dangerous as the physical toll of the fight continued to mount, illustrating just how punishing the championship battle had become.
Bring partners to try to drop you with body shots in the gym.
Yeah.
Is there any significance to that or any?
He would have made $1,000 off of me tonight if that was the case. Yeah, I mean, it still hurts right now. That hurts. My hand hurts. My jaw hurts. He is a formidable opponent. He was so good and so dangerous. And I never really got to. I didn't see him quit. I saw them almost stop the round fight at the end of the third round. And I was like, no way. And then he's back out there and back to being dangerous. So. Yeah, this is a crazy sport.
Even after the biggest win of his career, Justin Gaethje said the fight was far from easy. He revealed that his hand, jaw, and body were all hurting after the battle, showing just how demanding the contest had been. Gaethje also praised Ilia Topuria's toughness, saying he never felt the former champion gave up. Even as the fight turned against him, Topuria kept attacking and remained dangerous until the very end. That only raises another question. If Topuria was still fighting with that much determination, just how much punishment did he absorb in his attempt to keep the title?
Know what I mean? Which, to be honest, that might have played a part in it. Know what I mean? The fact I hate Ilia and the fact that Justin beat me and I like Justin, that might have played a part in the fact. But yeah, it's just Gaethje to get you into that dogfight, dragged you into it. Know what I mean? And Ilia's never had that. Ilia's never had to come back from adversity. Ilia's only ever been the hammer. He's never been the nail. I don't think Ilia Topuria ever comes back the same. His whole mindset, his whole ego, know what I mean? Like his is like, I'm undefeated, no one can beat me. Having celebrations the night before the fight. I just don't think he'll ever be the same. He's never had to come back from nothing like that. I've had to face adversity before, so nothing can prepare you for it. That's the thing, and that's why I don't think he'll ever come back the same. Nothing can prepare you for it, but we'll find out what sort of man he is if he does come back and when he does come back. Because, as I say, I've been there before. I've been beat. Know what I mean? And I've had to come back stronger every time, and I have done. He's never been beat. He's never had to do this before. He's gonna have to look at himself in the mirror and be like, "What? I've just got my head smashed in. I need to come back." And you never know, he might have the cojones to do it.
One of the most surprising reactions came from Paddy Pimblett. Instead of focusing only on Topuria's defeat, he spoke about what the fight revealed. According to Pimblett, this was the first time Topuria had truly faced adversity inside the cage, that he explained that Topuria had always been the one in control, but against Justin Gaethje, the roles were reversed. Pimblett believes the biggest challenge now isn't the physical recovery, it's the mental one. For the first time, Topuria knows he can be beaten. According to Pimblett, some champions come back stronger after a loss, while others never regain the same confidence. Now, the MMA world is waiting to see which path Topuria will take.
Health-wise, Dana?
He's doing good. He's doing good, Tough kid, obviously. After the first round, his eye was bothering him. You could see that he got hit. And at one point he started covering his eye like this and was kind of, messing with it. And then, Justin just kept busting.
Topuria is going to need time to recover mentally, emotionally, and physically. He's never lost before. This is gonna take some to overcome. One of the things that was Topuria's greatest weapons, greatest strengths, greatest traits, besides his overall ability and technically be sound, and he was a full package. He really was. Talent-wise, technique, everything. But one of the things foremost that leads the way for all those things to mean something is he has supreme confidence.
Those concerns weren't shared by Paddy Pimblett alone. Dana White also suggested that Ilia Topuria's road back could be tougher than many people expect. While physical injuries heal with time, the psychological impact of a first defeat can be much harder to overcome. Topuria entered the fight with the confidence of an undefeated champion, believing he could beat anyone placed in front of him. That mindset has always been one of his greatest strengths. Now, for the first time in his career, he must deal with unfamiliar challenges, recovering from a loss, rebuilding his confidence, and proving he can fight his way back to the top once again.
The three doctors and the ref, Ilia really wanted to continue, and then and I actually think he probably won that round too.
Yeah,
that he went into
round
and
4.
then his corner, I think, stopped the fight, and props to them. I would never say anything. Listen, if you're thinking about retiring and that's what you want to do, you know, it's probably what you should do. But on the flip side, you just beat an undefeated badass, you know, decisively. Finished him, and I don't know, it's just something that he needs to work out with, you know, himself and his own mind and with his family, obviously.
Yeah, if it is the way he goes out, it's an untoppable moment. What do you think? Should Michael hang it up? Should Chandler hang it up? Or do you think he can still be competitive in there?
I don't know. Listen, the guy that Michael fought is just so good. And that's the thing about Chandler. I mean, even going into this thing, Chandler's like, look at the guys that I fought. I mean, I fought all the baddest dudes in the division. And the lightweight division is nasty. The lightweight division is like the old light heavyweight division in the UFC.
Right. Yeah. No, absolutely.
What makes this story even more remarkable is that Ilia Topuria reportedly had no intention of stopping the fight. According to Dana White, he wanted to continue despite the heavy damage he had already taken. Even while dealing with swelling, possible vision problems, and fatigue, he kept competing at a high level. White even suggested that Topuria may have won one of the later rounds, showing he was still fighting hard. That's why many people reject the idea that he gave up. Instead, they believe he showed tremendous determination, and in the end, it was his corner that made the difficult decision to protect him when he wasn't willing to stop himself.
But the guy is just, he has zero quit in him. It doesn't exist. Like, if you're looking for quit, you go into a room, it's empty. The quit room has no one in it. There's nothing in there. He's not going to quit. He can lose because he's a human, but he's not going to quit. And he's also been into the deep trenches before. The deep trenches of these 5-round, chaotic, insane battles. And oddly, he thrives in those kind of battles. He's a guy, he's described as the most violent man in the most violent sport.
According to Joe Rogan, quitting has never been part of Ilia Topuria's mindset. Even after absorbing significant damage, he continued pressing forward and searching for opportunities to turn the fight around. Rogan believes that relentless determination is one of the qualities that helped Topuria become a champion. However, against Justin Gaethje, that same aggressive mentality may have worked against him. Gaethje has built his reputation on excelling in chaotic, high-pressure battles, and once the fight evolved into that kind of contest, every exchange became increasingly dangerous for Topuria.
Like Ilia's body, you know, deal with his weight and don't get injured. I cannot give him advantage. If I give him advantage, yeah, it's gonna be easy work for him. So no, I want to put him pressure, you know, give him hard work. You know, Morten stay with him physically, which I was, but I cannot tell you which was the most competitive part, because with him everything is competitive. You know, I cannot choose like striking, wrestling, grappling, because everywhere it's like it's crazy.
Videos was the video that went viral was you showing Ilia the way that he was going to finish Max Holloway. Do you have any sort of like breakdown or things that you saw with Justin Gaethje as well? Obviously, you can't give too much away, but over time, is there going to be another video if the knockout happens this weekend where you're showing Ilia exactly?
I don't know how it works with another brothers, but like I say, me and him, we are not just brothers, we are good friends. So it's very important to have, because sometimes for somebody, brother is something, you know, family, and just, okay, when we sit on the table and the family, we speak about it. No, we are not that type of brothers. We are brothers, but at the same time, we are best friends. And
throughout everything, one person has remained by Ilia Topuria's side from the very beginning, his brother Alexander. But as Alexander has explained, their bond goes far beyond family. They are best friends, training partners, and have shared every stage of Topuria's journey together, that's why this defeat affects more than just one fighter. Every victory and every setback is experienced by the entire team. Alexander stood beside Topuria during his rise to the championship, and now he's helping him recover, overcome this loss, and begin the journey back. Because no champion comes back from a setback like this alone.
Physically and mentally. Not and the mental part's going to take probably longer than the flesh to heal and to get right. And I want to say this. There's things that have to happen for an upset like this. And things went right when he made a mistake going to the floor, but still taking on away from Gaethje. But what also went right was what the doctor, when he heard it, he only had one way to react. I got to stop this. That it seemed like Topuria said he couldn't see. And when you say that, you're saying stop the fight, basically, because you know what a competent doctor, responsible doctor is going to do. He's going to look out for you. He's going to stop. So it looked like that's what was happening. And then all of a sudden, first of all, it was pretty obvious they didn't want the fight stopped. They didn't want it. I mean, they could. I'm not saying they were risking his life. I'm not saying that. But they didn't want the fight stopped. I don't think any of us did, to be quite frank. But
Teddy Atlas believes Ilia Topuria's toughest challenge may not be recovering physically, but mentally. While injuries eventually heal, bouncing back from the first loss of a professional career is often a much greater test. Atlas explained that major upsets are rarely caused by a single moment. Instead, they result from a combination of strategy, key adjustments, momentum shifts, and important decisions made under pressure. In his view, those factors came together in Justin Gaethje's favor, leading to a career-defining victory and handing Topuria one of the toughest setbacks of his career.
You would be misunderstanding. What ended that fight, what brought that fight to conclusion was the final double leg takedown attempt by Ilia. The final attempt where idiots call it a leg dive. When he went for the leg dive, the double leg takedown, and almost got it, and Gaethje's hips turned, and then Gaethje turned his hips back over, squared up, and stopped that effort. That is the moment when we're all done. There was mentally and physically, that was the final effort. Ilia continued. He used that final leg dive. That was his last bit of energy, but also mentally. And that's something that's very hard for a doctor to see. It's very hard for anybody to see that hasn't done it. But there is a time in a cage fight when you will acquiesce to your opponent. You will concede. You've got me. And from that moment on, do you finish the fight? Do you stall it out? Can you time up? Can you protect yourself? Do you flick it? There's all sorts of options, but there is a time when you mentally are done.
One of the most interesting analyses came from Chael Sonnen. While many people focused on the injuries, Sonnen looked at the mental side of the fight. According to Sonnen, the real turning point wasn't the swelling or a single strike. He believed it came during Topuria's final takedown attempt, the last effort to regain control and shift the momentum. Sonnen explained that every fighter eventually reaches a moment when fatigue sets in, options become limited, and they realize the fight is slipping away. In his opinion, that realization came before the official stoppage. He wasn't questioning Topuria's toughness or determination. Instead, Sonnen argued that Justin Gaethje pushed him into unfamiliar territory, and by the end of the fight, even a champion like Topuria had run out of answers.
So nasty. Yeah, it's nasty. Ugh. Listen, Justin, I'm so glad you're not going to fight to the end of the year, like for whenever. Just enjoy that, because that was a fucking masterpiece.
Yes, sir.
It was beautiful to be there. I mean, I felt so
American.
Hey. I felt so
It's so hard to represent this country because we're such a melting pot.
Yes.
And I think I have done it. I think I achieved that. And so I'm very, very proud of that.
Dude, you did it in spades. You did it 5 stars. It was fucking phenomenal. It was one of the greatest events that any sporting event has ever put on. I mean, maybe the greatest sporting event in the history of the world.
I said it before. This is going to be like some Miracle on Ice shit.
It was, man.
I know.
It really was.
I knew I had the opportunity to do something special.
You did it, and then here, come down.
Yeah, I want to see my family.
It was incredible. That was so cool.
So
Look how cool that is.
Yeah, so cool.
Look how cool that is. That is so amazing. That's so fucking amazing.
When the fight was over and the discussion shifted from the result to the injuries and post-fight reactions, Joe Rogan described the event as a true masterpiece. Not because it was flawless, but because it showcased everything that makes combat sports so compelling: skill, resilience, drama, and the constant possibility that anything can happen. Justin Gaethje entered the cage as a heavy underdog, with many expecting him to fall short. Instead, he produced a career-defining performance that captured the lightweight title and reshaped the division overnight. For Ilia Topuria, however, the next chapter is only beginning. Recovering from his first professional loss will require more than physical healing. The biggest challenge may be rebuilding his confidence and proving he can reach the top once again. Now the spotlight turns to the future. Can Topuria bounce back stronger? Or will this defeat become the defining moment of his career? Only time will provide the answer. What do you think? Will Topuria reclaim the lightweight title? Or has the division entered a new era? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more UFC news, fight breakdowns, and MMA updates.